Hello everyone, it is Erin Floto here, and I am talking about starting a new planner today. So I think a lot of you, given that it is almost the new year, are probably planning on starting a new notebook in 2025. Maybe you are continuing an old notebook, but here's some ideas to help you come up with what will make the best notebook for you. Because there's a lot of people on the internet that will provide guides and things like that. But really, one of the best things about bullet journaling is it's catered to you and to your life. So I want to make sure there's some things that you are thinking about when it comes to starting a new planner. So I'm going to walk you through what I've done to help me set up my planner, and hopefully those things will help you as well when it comes to setting up for your new planner. So there's a couple things right from the start that I already knew that I wanted to do for this new planner. So let's go ahead and write those down. And basically what I'm doing is going based off of what I know has worked and what hasn't worked this past year. So that is one of the easiest ways to do that. So one, what worked in 2024. Number two, what didn't work in 2024. And number three, things that need tweaking in 2025. So maybe it worked, but not really. So if you are starting a new notebook and you have experience in bullet journaling, these are some of the questions that can help you for that. If you haven't been experienced in bullet journaling before, let's talk about a few questions that might be helpful for you in terms of what do you need to think about. So one, what is the purpose? Of your planner? Two, who do you take greatest inspiration from? And three, what are you tracking to make your life better? The reason why there's two different questions, two different sets of questions here, is because if you have bullet journaled before, you've kind of already thought about the foundation of how you are bullet journaling. So what worked in 2024, what didn't work in 2024, things that need tweaking from either 2024 or any previous versions of bullet journaling that you have done, or planning in general. So if you've bullet journaled before, you kind of know a little bit of background into how things have worked in the past for you, versus if you are bullet journaling or planning for the first time, you kind of need to do that foundational stuff of like, okay, so what am I trying to get out of this? So I'm going to go ahead and answer these questions and then come back to you. And then I can answer these questions as if I were bullet journaling for the first time. And hopefully when I'm filling these things out, it's something that is helping you when it comes to your personal bullet journal. Like I said, it's a very unique experience to you when you are setting up with blank pages, like in a bullet journaling system. It is also unique to you if you are setting up in a pre-printed planner and you are going to adapt it in some certain way to make it work for you. Okay, so let's get into it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the right side, because if you are new to planning, I think that these questions help you a little bit more. So what is the purpose of my planner? This is for you to answer for yourself. For me, it's to keep my head on straight, to organize my day, and to track progress in my goals. Those are the three main things that, for me, if I didn't have a planner, I feel like things would be a bit more chaotic. So again, the biggest one being keeping my head on straight, especially in my life now. There's so many different moving parts that keeping my head on straight is really, really important to me. Organizing my day, that is the bare bones of what I need out of a planner, is something open on my desk that I can continually go back to, and make sure that I'm hitting the things that I need to hit on a day-to-day basis. And then tracking progress in my goals. Maybe that is short-term goals, maybe that is long-term goals. But generally speaking, like my goal to get something done at the end of the day, my goals when it comes to working out, things like that are really important to me. So tracking progress in those things is important to me. And I need to be able to utilize my planner for those particular things. Number 2, who do you take greatest inspiration from? So I just selected a few sources. I like to gain inspiration for my bullet journal on YouTube. And there are 2 main creators that I will continually watch their videos over and over and over again. And that's Joshi Corinne and Coffee Monsters Co. Those 2 creators are ones that I think align with a lot of the things that I want to do in my planners. And it's funny because one of them is a bullet journaler and one of them uses a pre-printed planner. And I know that pre-printed planners don't work for me, but there are some things that Coffee Monsters Co. does that for me, it is very fluid. I know she works in other planners. I know she has a bullet journal, but for me, it's a little bit more fluid. And then just random sources on Instagram is kind of where I get a lot of inspiration from as well. I'm like, oh, I saw this on Instagram. Oh, that seems like a really good idea. Maybe I should try implementing something like that. And number 3, what are you tracking to make your life better? So this third one is really going to help you in terms of the collections that you want to get out of your notebook. And 2, if you need more than one notebook. For example, I have budget and finances. I have habits such as working out, taking my medication, etc. And then tasks, moving from day to day with my tasks, and then month to month with my tasks. If it doesn't get completed in one month, it'll get completed in the next. And making sure that those tasks that I am identifying are moving forward if they're not completed. So again, you can kind of see it gives you an idea into, okay, these are the things that are important to me. This is where I should try to find some spreads that may cater to the type of work that I want to track, the type of planner that I want to have for myself. And then 3, what are those things that you're tracking and where should you track them? Should you track them in separate notebooks? For example, I have a separate notebook for budgeting and finances that I take out once a month. I don't take out any more than that. However, I have noticed in the past year that when I was trying to do budgeting, it was nice to also have a snapshot in my everyday notebook. That way I remember to do it on a monthly basis in my budgeting and financing notebook. So that's one of the reasons why I also have finance spreads in my everyday notebook. And then of course my tasks, that's my everyday notebook. So it can kind of give you an idea into how many, or if more than one notebook is appropriate, or if you just need to make sure that those collections are available in your everyday notebook. So those are the 3 things that are important to me when it comes to my notebook. Now I'm going to look at what worked in 2024, what didn't, and things that need tweaking in 2025. So what worked in 2024, having a B5 notebook, I love that size. It has worked really, really well using white paper. Honestly, they don't put out a lot of Blackout notebooks in the B5 size. So for me, for the amount of pages that I want in a notebook, it's probably going to be a white planner, a white paper planner in a B5 notebook. Having pre-section spaces. So what I mean by that is what I've done in my notebook where I have set different amounts of spaces for each month of the year. I also have a space for my annual. Once I completed that, I saw how many pages that there were in the rest of the notebook, and then I divided it equally amongst the months. Maybe that won't work for you. It did work for me. And then the collections that I used, exercise log, monthly calendar, master tasks, all worked really well, and those will be carrying forward in 2025. What didn't work in 2024 using washi tape, I talk about this in another video, so I won't get too deep into it. Setting up every month in advance, again, having those pre-section spaces was nice. Setting up all of the monthly pages in advance didn't really allow for me to have that variation that is really important to me when it comes to bullet journaling. So I wasn't able to adapt from month to month because I already had all the spreads set up. Having a reading tracker and a project tracker, neither quite worked well in 2024. So I will probably be abandoning both of those concepts in 2025. And then things that need tweaking in 2025, my monthly financial planning. Again, I will talk about this in another video, but I am maintaining my finance planner in 2025. It's going to be in the same outside notebook, but I'm going to have to adjust my mentality a little bit, especially from what I thought at the beginning of 2024, how I was going to do finance planning. And then drawing in my planner, again, using only washi tape really hurt my creativity level. And I think that has been a really sore spot for me when it comes to my planner. I keep wanting to go back into my planner, do some doodles, things like that, but it doesn't really fit with my theme. So I wasn't doing it, and that kind of hurt me a little bit. So drawing in my planner is a must for 2025. Okay, so last but not least, one of the things that I think is helpful in terms of coming up with your planner setups is kind of mapping out what you want to do. So I have a space here that says annual setup, a space here that says monthly setup, and a space that says overall 2025 theme. That's something that I like to do. You don't have to do an overall 2025 theme. My overall 2025 theme is somewhat ambiguous. It's not like, oh, all Disney related spreads or all Marvel related spreads or anything to that effect. It's more of a concept of pairing two things that don't necessarily go together to help spark my creativity. So that's going to be my overall theme for 2025. And then the annual setup, what are things that you would like to include? And use what you want from this information to say, hey, I care about my budgeting and finances, so I should probably have something related to budget and finance in my annual spread setup. Or if I want to get really granular in my finances, then maybe that needs to be done on a monthly page that I am constantly going back to. Maybe it's even something that you do on a daily where you put money in, money out, things that you spent money on, and have that on your daily page. It depends on how granular you want to get into the things that you want to track. For example, I have one of the things that I like to do is do health related things. So I do have medical and body stats in my annual setup. However, on a monthly setup, I also include an exercise log. And then on my dailies, I also write the things that I did to exercise on a daily basis. So I'm covering all my bases because that is an extremely important thing for me in my journey to track. So making sure that you are covering all your bases and where it fits best for you. So if it's something that you really, really care about and you really, really want to do things and keep track of them daily, have it in a bunch of different places. If you don't fill out everything, that's okay. Because you know what? If I fill out all of my health-related things on my daily, I can go back in and fill in my exercise log once a month. You know, it doesn't have to be an everyday thing. I do it nearly every day. Sometimes I'll wait a couple days, but I use an Apple Watch, so it's really easy for me to get the things that I'm tracking out of my Apple Watch and put them on my exercise log. So keep in mind those things as well. So having kind of an idea of what are some pages you want to include in your annual setup. And I will caution, if this is your first time doing bullet journaling, don't go too ham. Really pay attention to the things that you want to do, because you can always add, but if you try to subtract, like if you aren't filling things out, sometimes that gives you kind of a hit to your mentality when it comes to planning. I'm a completionist, so I do like having completed spreads in my notebook. So just a forewarning that it might be helpful to start with less and then build to more. If you are finding that you are constantly going back to your bullet journal, you have more time and you want to track these other things. And if you know a busy period is coming up in your notebook, parse it down and think about what are the most important things to me and only track those things. If you know it's a busy time of the year, kids going back to school, what have you, just be cognizant of, oh, I may not have as much time in my notebook, so I shouldn't track as many things as I did last month. So those are some things to keep in mind as well. So I hope that this video was helpful for you when it comes to what do I do? How do I set up a new planner? What should I think about when I'm setting up a new planner? And I hope that this video and my thought process when I do it is helpful for you when you do your own personal bullet journal or planner journey. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.